Hey ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the channel. As always, it is Nick here, back with your daily crypto news and analysis, and today we're going to be talking about Casper Network, aka Casper the Friendly Ghost. So with everything in mind, before we fully jump on into this video, I do just want to ask guys to please leave a like on this video. It does help the channel grow immensely, and of course I always do greatly appreciate it. And if you do find any information in this video valuable, useful, or interesting in any sort of way possible, definitely hit that subscribe button and turn notifications on to never miss a future upload. But with all of that in mind, let's just dive in and let's talk about everything. Specifically, let's address real quick Bitcoin. So of course, Bitcoin right now sitting at about 38.2K is probably worrying some individuals. We're going to be addressing this. We're going to actually be talking about this and why I do believe that Casper is an incredible opportunity right now in this market. So first off, we've talked about NFTs, we talked about the metaverse, but we also do talk about Web 3.0. And when we are talking about Casper, for an example, and we're talking about the future of even Web 3.0, I do believe that Casper should have a major spotlight. And I honestly think that when we're talking about Casper sitting at about almost a $300 million market cap, 851, not even a $1 billion fully diluted market cap, this has a ton of growth left in it. Currently sitting at about number 159 in terms of total market cap value. And when we are talking about those all-time highs, we do know that this has a long way to go to get back to its major all-time highs. I know that this is ICO prices back here, but we also talk about the ICO wicks to about like $40 to $60 and even higher at some points in time. But overall, when we are talking about Casper, when we're talking about the future of Casper in terms of a major network, but also as a token, it does definitely have some sort of major value behind it that has not yet been unlocked. And we're going to be addressing that. We're going to be talking about that in this video as well. So let's move in and let's talk about some major things. First off, regarding the market. So first off, with Bitcoin, right? Now, I know everybody's kind of getting worried here, kind of getting a little bit concerned. I'm not too worried at all. The 618 sitting at about 37.9K. Of course, I do have this 38.2K fib level. Now, this is on the macro view. This is at the 236. Of course, like I said, extremely macro view here. The 38.2K level is actually a pretty significant level overall as well. This is the level that we nearly rested on back in February before we went to the past all-time high. This is February of 2021, by the way. Here's when we hit, of course, that nice 58.5K zone. Of course, before we corrected to about like 43.2K, for an example, almost 43K exact. Again, when we're talking about this level, it's a major demand zone, even going back as far as August as well. So, for us to kind of rest around this area, it makes perfect sense. And honestly, when we are talking about these fib levels, they usually do come down and test these major levels of support. Of course, the 618 is something to really kind of, I would say acknowledge. RSI not too oversold here, and even in terms of volume, we are still seeing that diminished volume. So I'm expecting a little bit, more downside potential if we do come down as low as about like the 702, for example, at about like 36.8K. I would not be too mad with that at all. Now, of course, I know everyone is probably going to be saying, but what about Casper? So again, with Casper, we're still ranging around this point that we've been watching for a very long time. In fact, this is that major chop zone. It's chop city, right? This is like the 236 that we rejected off at about like 9.5 cents. So there was some major resistance at around like 9.7, if you will. But overall, at our current levels, I'm not too concerned at all. I would say that this is a major opportunity because even a 10x from here brings us to about like 80 cents. Okay, so like, you got to look at the bigger picture. Like, if I invest $10,000 right now into Casper and I hold it for, I don't know, maybe a few months, for an example, and it goes to 80 cents, and I made $100,000 off of $10,000, would I be mad that I could have bought, maybe Casper at 7 cents if it drops down to that point? Absolutely not. I'm not going to get mad at that at all. And I'm not saying that, hey, Casper is going to 10x, in the coming months or so. But I do believe that these layer ones, especially Casper, even HBAR, and other major altcoins that I talk about, have incredible 10x opportunity written all over them. Like even for an example, like, HBAR sitting at about like almost 20 cents, definitely has some major 10x opportunities within it. I'm just saying, you got to keep a close eye out on some of these layer ones that are providing a massive amount of technological advancements for the space. Casper definitely is one to continue to, remark. I do think that Casper is such a great opportunity, and it's not because I'm biased or because I have money in it, but it's because I still think that Casper is an awesome ROI choice. In fact, I will be completely transparent with you guys. I'm actually underwater in my Casper investment, but am I worried? Absolutely not. I'm just letting you guys know that. So, let's talk about a few things. So first off, shout out to Blockchain Backer. So if you guys don't know Blockchain Backer, definitely go check out his videos and stuff like that. I do technical analysis, but I do not do it at all as in depth as Blockchain Backer, and I'm honestly not even close to his level in terms of TA. I will be completely honest with you guys on that. He's an incredible individual and has been in this market for a very long time. But of course, we do see here, today's video began with decision time. Why I'm not fond of predicting times, because I'll get it wrong so often. A multitude of things were flashing a move for Bitcoin moves today. As we know, Bitcoin has been following this not just with levels but with time for 5 months. And honestly, this has been tied to this 2017-2018 pattern for a very long time technically. Honestly, when we are talking about this major pattern, it's pretty crazy to say the least on how accurate this actually is from a depiction, right? So if we're continuing to follow this, our bottom would be around, of course, like this time frame perfectly. This goes back to the 17th, by the way, so 3 days ago. And of course, he is on the 4-hour chart here instead of the 1 day. So this is actually very similar to what we are doing right now. Like we're actually around like the 38K mark. So like around this point here, which we could technically drop as low as like 36K, maybe a little bit below it. That's why I even told you guys and I showed you guys the possibility of us actually going lower and actually not ranging currently on this point that we're at now. 36.8K at about like the 702 retracement would be perfect in my opinion to actually retest to, which is almost at like 37K exact. Which again, when we're talking about this chart, that's pretty much around this point here. But with that major low at the 786, the 35.7K zone, that's basically the bottom of this candle here. So this is pretty similar to what we are expecting. And when we are talking about March, this is that major impulse level. And around this point, I would say that we would most likely repeat 2017, 2018 for Bitcoin's major bull market, which would, I should say, it led to the altcoin market going absolutely crazy. This would be that last major wave 5, if you will, that kind of finishes up the market run for Bitcoin, which will of course lead to altcoins going absolutely parabolic and kind of wrapping up the extended bull run pattern that we are in. Now, is this going to go and play out perfectly like that? Who absolutely knows? We don't know for certain. TA only goes so far. It's more of a predictable basis, but of course I do believe that this is something that could be happening right now in front of our faces. But with everything in mind, why do I still believe that Casper is going to be doing great? It's not just because alt season is on the rise, but it's actually because we are seeing some major moves or some, I would say, major announcements within the Web3 scene. In fact, we do see crypto is at a crossroads. One path will see centralization become the default stance, while the other will ensure crypto sticks to its decentralized roots, argues Matt VP of WireX app. And of course, this is Web3. Web3 might be crypto's key to the mainstream market. This is what I'm talking about. Like Web3 related assets, like of course Casper, are going to do absolutely incredible once we do get to the point of mainstream adoption through Web3, which of course Web3 is more so, like I said, decentralization of these major platforms. But the best part about this is we even see here, as conversations began to move on from Bitcoin to other larger crypto projects like Ethereum network upgrades. And the funny thing is, I love the fact that they are mentioning Ethereum network upgrades because, again, Ethereum is not scalable to the massive demand that there is for the Ethereum network. Hence, why we do need these layer ones that are doing incredibly well in terms of scalability, efficiencies, predictable gas fees, etc. And again, this is why I put a lot of my chips on a lot of these layer ones like HBAR, even Casper as well. Like I diversify within layer ones because they do provide massive amounts of support. We do see here the history of the internet, Web 1, Web 2, and here's, of course, Web 3. And, from 2020 to, 2025 to 2026, 2028, 2030, etc., right? We're just going to continue to see this grow and grow and grow. Who knows what the next thing will be? We got to wait to see. But of course, I'm going to be within this market throughout this entire process because we're going to go into that point where we do see Web3 and DeFi, I should say, because we even see Web3 and DeFi being talked about here as well. And I feel like I should mention DeFi as well because we are going to be seeing a lot more DeFi products being built on Casper as well. It's going to be a spark that lights the flame for, of course, mass adoption. In fact, I do believe that Web3 will be the mainstream adoption curve that really provides a lot of value for crypto. We do see here, can mainstream adoption happen without Web 3.0? While crypto use has been on the rise since the pandemic, the increase in new wallet holders has started to slow down, and we actually see that here. Of course, number of blockchain wallet users worldwide. This goes back to like 2012. We could see the growth here, And the funny thing is this is the number of users in millions. Look at where we are currently at. Like we're around like 80 million. It's comical to say the least. We are so early still, and of course now we're seeing the question on, hey, mainstream adoption is kind of slowing down. The funny thing is that we're not even close to slowing down. Like this is going to continue to grow. This is the macro viewpoints. Of course, when we're talking about like 2021 to now, a lot of individuals are most likely, sort of worried on, one, regulations, but also maybe they're worried about the crashing moment for crypto. Maybe they think it's in a bubble. Maybe they're listening to everything that's being said about it, in terms of even volatility. In my mind, when we're talking about the next major steps, CBDCs, digitization, digital assets in general are going to continue to grow and grow, especially as we do see more Web3 products being released. I've always said this, and honestly, when we're talking about even NFTs and Web3, it's really going to be, the spark that lights the flame, like I've said multiple times, because even Alex Winter here, really kind of compares and contrasts this perfectly. He's saying, the messaging around NFTs and Web3, given the power back to the people and to artists, is the same as the early days of streaming and the gig economy, and we all know how that went. The breathless evangelism in this space needs to be checked. The onus is on those in the crypto community to prove how artists will benefit from these new systems, or it should be assumed they will not. Those are simply the lessons learned. And honestly, when we are talking about, the streaming and gig economy, we've seen like things like Fiverr growing. We've seen, honestly, like streaming and, just gig economies in general have exploded in value in the last couple of years. I mean, I was a part of the gig economy, even in terms of like design and stuff like that. I've seen it unfold greatly, and NFTs and Web3 are definitely growing right now, but also so is the metaverse. And all of this is being built on layer ones like Casper. Casper is also providing major use cases within these areas of expertise. But honestly, if you're not seeing the things happening right now in these markets, you definitely are not paying attention. We even see here investors are paying millions for virtual land in the metaverse. And honestly, we're going to continue to see this. I mean, like, I honestly think that we're going to see rentals being listed in the metaverse. We're going to see individuals renting land, renting buildings and stuff. I'm actually very excited for this. I'm actually very excited for the metaverse and Web3 and NFTs because I do think that this is going to be that explosive curve that we are waiting for in terms of mainstream adoption. Now, I don't think that we're going to have to wait too long on this. I know a lot of individuals have been saying that the metaverse is still years away. I really don't think it's too far away. I think that when we're talking about everything that's being built, I think that we are very close to, of course, mainstream adoption. And honestly, we're seeing major things being unfolded within this area as well. Like, I really do think that Web3 by itself is going to be so much bigger. Like right now, it's currently worth $49 billion. That's comical. I want you to all understand right now, where you are positioning yourself in this market. Are you investing in layer ones? Are you investing in NFTs? What are you investing in and why? Always have a basis behind why. Like, for example, when I found Casper and I did my research, and the reason why I invested into Casper is because, first off, yes, I see a major opportunity within the layer one area, but I also see a major opportunity within Web3, NFTs, even just DeFi as well. Like, this is why I position myself and diversify into layer ones. But Casper just had such a massive ROI viewpoint on it that I could not overlook. And like I said, yeah, I'm in the water right now on my investment. but I'm not too concerned at all on it, because when we're talking about the long-term views on Casper, I easily see this thing being worth $10 billion plus in market capitalization. Okay, so with all of that in mind, I hope that you guys enjoyed this. If you guys did, definitely leave a like, subscribe to notifications on if you guys want more free content. You guys are more than welcome to follow me on Twitter and join the free Discord down in the description below. As always, I hope that you all have a beautiful day or beautiful night wherever you guys are in this beautiful world. This has been Nick. Peace out, guys.